First of all, I would like to thank Alibaba for inviting us to join this event. We're excited to be here and congratulate Alibaba for making this such a great event. I hope it's not too tired for everybody here. It's a rainy afternoon. But Jack Ma might stop by, so just stay awake. So I'm going to share a little bit about the AT&T strategy on the network evolution and hybrid cloud strategy. And before I do that, I will just give an overview about AT&T. AT&T has been doing a lot of transformation in the past few years. So AT&T is now really a TMT company, technology, media, and telecom companies, after a series of transformation and investment in the past few years. So in 2016, our revenue was $163.8 billion US dollar, and we were ranked 23 of Global 500. We have 260,000 people worldwide in over 60 countries. And we have the our R&D center that help us to get 8 Nobel Prize, and we also have 6 AT&T Foundry Innovation Center. Now, this is really our 打磨院 R&D center. So we use this Foundry Center to work with our customers, actually, to develop the products jointly. So we have hundreds of solutions jointly developed with our customers through the Foundry. And so that range from software development, the IoT, the connected car, connected health, and so on. So the innovation is really our DNA. And we are really proud of being the number one of Fortune's Global Most Admired Telecom Company. In the past few years, we have been investing a lot. And in total, in the past 6 years, we have invested $140 billion globally. So primarily to help us to enhance our global network, our mobility network, our investment globally to support our MNC customer in Latin, Mexico, and in the world, and also our software-defined network and IoT. We have 140 years history, and we serve over 3 million business customers, including nearly all Fortune 1000 customers in over 200, almost 200 countries and 6 continents. So in China, actually we also have a big presence here. We have office in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. We also have a joint venture partnering with Shanghai Telecom of China Telecom and Shanghai government called SST. Actually, we also have people from SST today right here. We are also helping our customer in China to go global. So very recently, you may have heard about an announcement between AT&T and Mobike, a bike-sharing company, to launch their service in the U.S., and we provide the IoT solution to Mobike. So I think that is also one of the areas that we're trying to do to not only help our global MNC customer to get into China, but also the Chinese MNC going global. Okay, so just want to share some macro trend impacting the business. I think that should be no surprise to everybody here. We see that cloud is really changing the way we set up the WAN, the wide area network. So based on that analysis, we see that 93% of the business are using different types of cloud. And we also see the increasing in endpoint deployment in the network. And the forecast suggests that there will be 50 billion connected devices by 2020. So that are primarily IoT related, and also when a company deploy their BYOD services, so there will be more and more endpoint. And global IP traffic is growing. I think Rob also talked about that in the first session. There will be a significant increase in IP traffic, and we see that there will be a 3x increase by 2020. So let's look at the customer's view of WAN and the cloud challenges. For the traditional network, we see that is more static, right? We see that customers using different hardware equipment to get connected to the network, and relatively that is more expensive. Think about that. Whenever we need to, add additional sites, additional office, or factory, you need to put a lot of new equipment. That could be the router, the firewall, the WAN accelerator, and so on. So they kind of increase the in use of the hardware, and there is also a dependency on the hardware vendor and also the hardware technology. So we get into the area that I just mentioned in terms of increasing the traffic, increasing the endpoint, and also increasing the cloud application. So this is really driven by the globalization, the virtualization, and mobilization. So we see that there are more endpoints that include kind of like the connected devices, the connected vehicle, vessel, CCTV, and so on. So there is increase in bandwidth consumption of the network. So that also kind of add the complexity of the entire network design. When we get into multiple cloud application, then there is also the complexity of the integration and also the security concern. So the vulnerability is getting amplified with more endpoint, more cloud provider. So I think the key is really to get efficient and secure information, access and collaboration for the network. So here is what we believe that the kind of the factors that we need to consider when we set up the WAN and also the cloud strategy. So first being the application and usage, we need to kind of consider what kind of application and how do you use it, and whether you put it in private cloud or in public cloud. Let's talk about the multi-cloud integration. That is also very critical because we need to ensure to get the scalable access among different CSP. Internet is getting more and more important. It's going to be kind of like a more cost-effective way to get access to the cloud. But in the meantime, we also need to ensure that it's secure. So typically, I think it's more for the non-critical application when we use the internet access. Virtualization strategy, we also need to look at like what function need to be virtualized and how do we virtualize. Continuity transport is also getting more complex. I just talked about internet access is more important, and and so instead of just using MPLS, we will also try to offload some of the, as I said, the non-critical traffic to internet. But we also have like 3G, 4G access and internet access. So again, the entire network topology is getting more complex. Security is really important. When we look at the increasing endpoint, the complexity of cloud integration, and also the increase in traffic. So what AT&T is doing is to adopt the multi-layer approach by looking at the endpoint, the application data, as well as the network, and wrapped up by our AT&T consulting, the AT&T Threat Manager. AT&T is managing more than 150 petabyte traffic in our network globally in each single day. So that is the scale that we are seeing, and we'll be able to monitor and look at the trend of the traffic, and also to scan some abnormal situation. And we also have the SOCs, the Security Operating Center globally. So we have 8 SOCs in the world with the professional resources and the tooling to help our customer to monitor the performance and also some abnormal trend. So I just mentioned about the internet. So it's getting more and more, I would say, important in the network setup. So in the past, we will see the branch office linked to the data center and then get into the internet. So there's a firewall between the data center and the network. And today, we see that customer can get directly to the internet with the center. So there's a code at the branch office level that is driven by the more endpoint, SOHO office, and also the IoT, more IoT devices deployed by different customers. So that is how we see the internet role in this new WAN architecture. So what AT&T is doing is to kind of look at the entire virtualization strategy combined with our partnership in terms of the NetBond connection to different cloud service providers. So I will spend a little bit time to talk about how we are managing this together with our customer. So we start with the global network. And when I talk about our virtualization strategy, I need to mention like the Domain 2.0 initiative that AT&T introduced a few years back. So basically, that is the open orchestration platform that we had developed. We call it ECOM, this Enhanced Control Orchestration Management Policy Platform. So we spend a lot of effort. Actually, we kind of pioneer the effort of the virtualization strategy, and we spent a lot of resources. We wrote 8.5 million of codes, lines of codes, and we make a lot of progress. And at the end, we decided to make it open source. So we donate to Linux Foundation for this orchestration platform, and that was subsequently merged with another platform called ONET, the Open Network Automation platform. That is really the orchestration platform that we're using to develop our own software-defined network and also the fastware, which I will further talk about later on. The reason why we want to do that is really to make it as an open system, to push it forward together with the industry, and such that more customers will be able to utilize, what AT&T has already developed. And I know many global telecom players have signed up for the ONET. That include China Telecom, China Mobile, Huawei, and so on. They're also part of this the ONET standard. So after we have developed this, and we continue building our own software-defined network infrastructure as well as solution. So for our MPLS network, our SDN, the software-defined network strategy, enable us to do this intelligence, to have the intelligence to switch the traffic through the most optimized route, including the breakout to offload some traffic to the internet. And we could have multiple access to different endpoint or different offices that include Ethernet, the MPLS, the LTE. We talk about the 3G, 4G access to different endpoint. There's a box right here called Fastware. Fastware is really the box AT&T developed that could help our customer to virtualize their network operation. So typically, in one of my earlier chat, we talk about we need to deploy different hardware in the office to get connected to the network, the router, the WAN accelerator, the firewall. Basically, the fastware is the X.25 server. So we could virtualize the network function through software in a pretty speedy manner. So we put firewall there, we put WANX there just in one box. And we deployed that last year in 74 countries, and our plan is to roll it out to almost 200 countries globally. In fact, the first customer that we sold our fastware product is an Asian-based company, headquartered in New Zealand, called Fisher & Paykel, the home appliance company. And as you may be aware, actually, Fisher & Paykel is a subsidiary of Haier in Qingdao. So we see there's increasing need and demand of this kind of virtualized solution for a customer. And in our core network, we also put different VNF and also the intelligence, as I said earlier, to switch the traffic. And there's, here we talk about the net bond. So our strategy is really to help our customer to get connected to different cloud service provider through the secure and consistent performing network. So this basically through our VPN. And in terms of our MPLS node, we have deployed 3,800, around 800 nodes globally. And that is really the backbone for us to help our customer to get connected through this secure manner. In the chart, we show that we have 17 cloud service provider partner. In fact, this number keeps changing, keeps increasing. We continuously explore the new partnership globally with different cloud service provider in order to serve our customer. So very soon we probably will also make the announcement of the new partnership with different cloud service provider, and that could also help us to get access to different cloud service as provided by different CSP. Now, apart from direct connection with different cloud service provider, it's also important for us to look at the cloud-to-cloud connectivity, and we have different use cases for that. That include the data loss protection to have the quick data recovery between the private and public clouds through this multi-cloud connectivity, and also to share the workload between, for example, the SaaS and database, and also for different IoT devices in order to use the bandwidth efficiently. So I think that's very important to make sure to get the efficient cloud-to-cloud connection, and that's what AT&T NetBond is supporting. Okay, so this is actually my last slide. For the AT&T Cloud, hybrid cloud solution, I would just make it simple as like we are helping our customer do the cloud transformation by providing the consulting service, look at the strategy for the entire cloud adoption, the application migration, and we also have our own cloud services for DR, for CDN, VDS, and compute, and so on. And I talk about the NetBond for cloud with our cloud compliance, and we also have the co-location partner that could help our customer connecting to 300 plus data center. Actually, Equinix is one of our cloud ecosystem partner. And I saw Patrick over there from Equinix, so they are one of our partners helping us to provide the co-location service to our customer, and the entire setup and the connection is wrapped up by the integrated security solution, as I mentioned, the multi-layer approach that we are adopting to support our customer, so that hopefully we'll be able to provide the most secure network and also to help our customer to scale their business with different vendors. So, so this is what I'm sharing today for AT&T network evolution as well as the hybrid cloud strategy. So thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.